Cross the legs, bring your hands to your knees. Take a second to roll those shoulders back, get your spine like okay with the idea that you might be sitting for the next couple of minutes. And then just bring the hands to the knees and then try to come to some amount of stillness. Close the eyes. Just check in with yourself. See what you start to notice. So we're in the same space all day long, but I think certain things start to become just, we take them for granted or we don't notice them. So when I sit and get quiet, all of a sudden you notice the clock ticking. You notice the birds chirping outside the windows. I can hear the refrigerator running, which maybe you can hear as well, I don't know. But just let yourself take a moment to really notice the space around you, anything that you're sensing. Notice yourself. So this might be on just purely a physical level. You might notice how your shoulders are feeling, or how your hips are feeling, or even your knees when you came to seated. Notice your breath. And then if you're so inclined, just go a level deeper. How's your energy? Are there any emotions that you're carrying with you? We sometimes just kind of let stuff get buried as we go through the day. And this isn't a therapy session. I'm not asking you to dig up all of your emotions and try to process them. And that's not really what yoga is for. But I do think we have the opportunity to just take note of where we're actually at without trying to fix it or judge it, but just let it be. Yet we still have the awareness. Maybe take a couple of deeper breaths here. Really inhaling fully, exhaling long and slow like a relief. And heck, you're in your own space. If it would feel good to just sigh, go ahead and do that. So anything that feels good here for you. This really is your practice. So try to make it what you want. And with that in mind, set an intention now for your practice. So you have, a how or a way in which, or even just if it's just a reason that you're practicing today, bring that to mind to kind of anchor you and give you some guidance throughout this next hour or so that you're moving your body. Open the eyes back up. And let's move to tabletop. So we're just going to start really simply with some cat-cow stretches. So set yourself up, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Inhaling to cow pose. Exhaling to cat pose. Begin to work with your Ujjayi breathing practice here. And this is a slightly more advanced level yoga practice, so I'm going to assume that pretty much everyone who is taking part has done some yoga before. It is pretty familiar with the Ujjayi breath. But that's going to come with us through the whole practice. So I encourage you to initiate it now. Find a rhythm that works for you, that makes sense, so we can really flow with that breath, because that is the heart or the core of Vinyasa, is flowing the body with the breath. And then let's just add on to our movement. So coming from cow, let your hips come back to child's pose. Inhale back up to cow pose, and then we'll add on down dog. So tuck your toes, lift your knees, move the chest back. This time inhale forward to plank. So move the shoulders forward over the wrist, adjust the feet as needed, knees to the floor, exhale, child's pose. So this is just a small sequence, 4 poses, but follow the breath, stay with it. The inhales are either bringing you to plank or they're bringing you to cow pose. And the exhales are either bringing you to child's pose or downward facing dog. And if you get a little out of order, it really is not a big deal. Just see if you can keep flowing with the breath, have that breath-body connection working for you right now. And if you're like, this is more than I want to do at the start of my practice, you can stay with cat-cow. So that's fine. Again, make it your own. Go where you want to go. And take your time. And the next time you find yourself in plank, shoulders over wrists, let yourself hold. Reach through the head, reach through the heels, strong through the core of your body. Breathe. And then we're going to lower to the floor. So maybe knees want to come down first on this first one, but if you're ready for a chaturanga, lowering down carefully, keep the neck long as you come down. Let's take the let's take the arms along the sides of the body. Let's just take a locust. So lifting up with everything, your pelvis presses down. Just reach the fingers back, reach the toes back, lift your heart. Breathe. One more inhale. And then let's exhale, go down. We're just going to do a little up, down here. So take your forehead to the floor, and then inhale, come on up, lengthen. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale, bring it up, and now see if you can stay up, bend your elbows, bring the hands next to the chest, and then rolling onto the tops of the feet, come to cobra. Heart comes up and forward. Soften the glutes, elbows by your sides. Breathe. And then from here, tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips, and move it back to downward facing dog. And give yourself some time to hold in this down dog or work into it, bending one knee. Let the opposite leg straighten, switching to the other side when you're ready. Making any adjustments. If you want, you can lift up on the balls of the feet and pivot both heels to the right. This can feel really nice. You get a stretch for the left side of the body. And then pivoting back through center on the balls of the feet. Drop the heels to the left. Coming back up. And breathe. And then let's walk the hands to the back of the mat. So take yourself all the way back to a standing forward fold. Soften up your knees here at the back of the mat. Let the upper body just hang and dangle. You can drop your hands to the floor. You can grab your elbows, whatever you'd like. Sometimes it even feels nice to interlace your fingers and put the hands behind your head, bringing a little weight to your head to allow it to drop down. So that's an option. Ooh, sway. And breathe. And then taking the fingertips to the floor, let's take the right leg up. Kind of like a standing split here, but make it an easy one, right? So we're just getting started. We don't need to crank into our hamstrings at this point. Now we're going to actually walk the hands forward and come to a down dog split. So start to walk the hands towards the front of the mat. As you're doing this, notice if the shoulders are moving forward too, and see if you can just get the hands to come forward so you're making that down dog diagonal and connecting with that leg. Reach through the lifted heel, look forward now, and step your right foot all the way up between the hands. Reach through the back heel, reach through the head, lengthening out through the body. Knee is over ankle of this front shin. So if your foot is in the middle of your mat and your knee is way forward of your ankle, move your foot up so you can really lunge here. Plant your left palm, take the right arm up. Nice, easy twist. See if you can focus on that back leg for a moment too. So notice if you tend to kind of bend that knee towards the ground. If you need to put it on the ground to modify, that's fine. But if you're not doing that, see if you can straighten out through that back leg and push through the heel. Now turn to the floor, stepping to plank. We're going to take a vinyasa here. So high plank, lower down, maybe again, knees could come down first and then just lower the chest between the hands. Then inhale, take your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's walk the hands back again. And fold. Breathe here. Once again, fingertips to the floor. This time we're going to take the left leg up into the air. And it doesn't need to be super high, and it doesn't need to be completely straight, but we're just going to try to lift it. Now, as we walk the hands forward, we're not coming to a plank, we're coming to a down dog. So we want to keep the hands ahead of the shoulders. Keep the chest moving back. Keep reaching through that back heel as we let the hands come forward. When you get there, make sure the head is hanging heavy if you were looking forward, which would make sense to do. Maybe you need to come up off of your right heel now, or you can keep it down if it's still working for you. And then step your left foot forward. Knee is over ankle. Reach through that back leg. Nice and strong. High lunge here. Again, nice vertical shin. Plant your right palm. Take the left arm up. Easy twist. Breathe. Strong back leg. Shoulders stack. Turn back to the floor. One more time. Opportunity for a vinyasa. We're going to do some sun A's in a moment. So if you're feeling like you want to take this one nice and easy, go for it. Otherwise, you can take Chaturanga and up dog if you're ready. Roll over the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog, and breathe. Inhale now, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step, walk, or if you're ready, lightly hop the feet up. Let's have big toes together, heels slightly apart now. Fingers to shins, take a long flat back, so half lift in Ardha Uttanasana, reaching the head away from the tail. Exhale, fold down again. Let's reverse swan dive. So come all the way up. Strong legs, long spine. Palms together in front of the heart. Press those palms. Take a moment to make any adjustments you need to make. And then come to the top of the mat. We're going to start into our sun A's. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Press your palms, press your feet. Shoulders down, navel in, tail down. So there's a sense of engagement through the core, even just in a standing position. Gaze is up and forward. And then inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, long forward fold to Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step into plank, lowering Chaturanga. You can take knees to the floor if you want. Inhale, cobra or up dog, up to you where you're at this point in the practice. Exhale, down dog and hold. In holding down dog, fingers spread, press into the whole underside of your hand. So notice if your hands tend to cup up off the ground, or if you tend to lift your thumb or your first finger, and instead root down into those areas that tend to feel light. So for most of us, we tend to roll to the outer hands. See if you can press down into the inner edges of the hands, which is like the base of the thumb and the first finger. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees to step or lightly hop to the front. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding Uttanasana. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come on up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Let's keep it flowing. Follow the pace of your breath. Inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Step and lower or jump to Chaturanga if you're feeling it. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Just one inhale and down dog. Exhale, bend the knees, step or lightly hop forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, reverse, come up. Following that Ujjayi breath, palms together. Keep flowing. If your pace is faster or slower than mine, that's okay. Follow your breath. Don't worry if it's matching what you think it should be. It's your practice, it's your pace. Try to stay in rhythm with yourself, but don't worry about, being too fast or slow. Anyway, we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna go through this a couple more times. One inhale in down dog. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse, come on up. So I'm gonna stop cueing. We're just gonna do a couple more here. Just keep following along. Follow the pace of your own breath here. Couple more. Following your breath through the sequence that you're in, and then make your way into your next downward facing dog. So don't rush, don't hurry, but when you arrive in down dog next time, go ahead and hold there and breathe. And if you get to down dog and you feel like you need to drop your knees to the floor and take a little moment in child's pose, you can go ahead and adjust to that, restore for the time that you need. Otherwise, in down dog, just breathing, pressing the hands down, lifting the hips up away from the floor. Exhale, leaning your chest back, deepening. Breathe. Now let's take the right leg into the air. Open the hip and bend the top knee. Point the knee to the sky. Let the heel drop to the left hip. We're just going to do a little bit of core work here. So we're going to move the shoulders forward over the wrist, tuck the knee in tight to the chest. Keep reaching through that back heel nice and strong. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, right knee to the right arm. Hover it by your tri, keep the head reaching forward. Breathe. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, knee to the left arm. So there's a little twist that happens here as you turn to the side. Hug that knee up by your tri. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, step the foot all the way forward. Let's come on up for high lunge, crescent pose. Find your way up, reach the arms, lunge into that front knee. Breathe. Now, we're going to take a twist. We're going to bring the palms together in front of the heart. Take the left arm outside of the right leg. I'm going to turn just so I can continue to face your direction. But we're going to take the right palm and press it down into the left as we turn to the side here. Reach through the back heel. Now try to keep the right knee bent, lean forward. Step the left foot up. Big toes touch, knees together, maybe fly the arms open. Inhale, come to chair pose. And then exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, make your way through Vinyasa to get back to downward facing dog. If you want to skip a Vinyasa or two here or there, that's fine. They will keep coming. I'm kind of relentless about Vinyasas. But this is a Vinyasa practice. So I always assume that people will take them when they want them and skip them when they don't. So don't feel like you must take them all. That's really not necessary. Take them when they feel good to you. Inhale, look forward. Actually, let's not do that. Let's do the other leg, right? Let's take the left leg up. Open the hip, bend the top knee, point the knee to the sky. Heel drops to the right hip. We're doing the same thing as before, so this little bit of core work. Knee to chest, shoulders forward over the wrist. Hold. Really hug that knee up tight. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, knee to the left arm. Hover it on the same side. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, knee to the right. Little twist here. Breathing. Inhale, lift the leg. And exhale, step the foot up to the front of the mat. And we're going to take the high lunge here. Second side, so front knee over ankle. Reach the arms up, reach through the back heel. I'm not going to turn around this time because I think you guys know what's happening. You know the routine. Take your right arm to the outside of the left leg. Push your left palm down. Turn, keep reaching through the back heel. And then when you're ready to move it forward, lean towards your left leg, step the right foot up, and you might need to look down to help with that. Get that foot and feet together, knees together, and then fly the arms. Keep reaching the head away from the tail, lengthening the spine. And then inhale, chair pose. Tuck your tail, navel in as you come to Utkatasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. We're going back into Vinyasa. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog, and hold and breathe. And if you need knees to the floor for child's pose, you can go ahead and take that. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step or hop feet forward between the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. So we're going to come to chair again, and we're going to twist the other way. So this time to the right, and we've been here, but coming from the lunge before, now we're just coming from chair to this high lunge. We're actually going to kind of backtrack from what we did last time. So now we're going to stand on the right foot and step the left foot back. So keep the right knee over the ankle, reach through the left leg, fly the arms open here now. And now you can float up. Keep the twist. So my right leg, I'm like turned over it. So my right shoulder is drawing back, my right knee is reaching forward, and then we're gonna go to side plank. Try to keep the side of your body facing this direction. So you're gonna plant your left palm down inside that right foot. This is the easy twist we did earlier. Now, roll to the outer edge of your back foot, that's the left one, and then step the right foot back. Modified version, knee is right out from the hip and right over the ankle. Full version, inner edges of the feet stack, flex into the feet, lift up. Some people like to do a little bit of a lift on that top leg, which you can if it works, but keep the hips lifting here. And then turn to the floor. Chaturanga, maybe one-legged. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a couple resting breaths. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop with those feet. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Coming to chair, inhale. And I'm actually going to step to the other side for this next one, although we've done it already. We're going to twist to the left. Press your right palm or left palm down into the right. Knees together, so try to keep those knees side by side so that your hips aren't shifting here. And then standing on your left foot, take the right one back. Woo! One big step if you can. If you start to fall, use your hands. Don't worry, it's okay. And then fly the arms open. So we're twisting, opening, breathing. We always got to be breathing, but try to stay with that ujjayi breath as much as possible. Float up, arms extending in opposite directions. So the left fingers are back, right fingers are forward, left knee is forward. We're going to plant the right hand next to the left foot. Keep the shoulders stacked, and if you can, keep that top hand exactly where it is. Roll to the outer edge of your back foot. Take that left foot either knee over ankle or stack it all the way. Lift the hips, side plank. And then maybe take the foot up if you're working, but try to keep the hips lifting. Breathe, maybe look up to your top thumb. And then turn to the floor, Chaturanga. Maybe one leg. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and breathe. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step or hop feet forward between the hands. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, folding deep. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Let's come to chair again. We're gonna stay in chair, but we're gonna go to eagle. So take your arms out. Now, let's take the left arm under the right. Upper arms wind and then lower arms. If you can't get your upper arms to wind, you're just winding at your forearms, you can just put your hands on your shoulders. But if the arms are winding, try to bring the palms kind of by each other. And now we're gonna pick up the left leg and cross it over the right. Thighs cross, some of you toes behind ankle, lift the hips, or lift the elbows, sorry, sink the hips. Hips go down, eagle pose. Now we're gonna I'm gonna actually try to turn here to show from the side. We're gonna take ourselves lower with the torso, trying to level out the spine with the floor. Keep reaching the fingers forward like you're shooting them like an arrow towards the front edge of your mat. And then unwind the left leg, push the sole of the foot back, variation on warrior 3. Finding the balance, you're kind of in a T shape, but the arms are modified. Now we're gonna step back to a variation on warrior 1. Keep the arms wound, bend your front knee, reach the back heel to the floor. Come on, up, up, up. Lunging deep, lift your heart. Maybe lean back, point those fingers to the ceiling or almost behind you. Keep bending into the front knee. One more inhale. And then exhale, unwind the hands, take them to the floor. Give yourself a vinyasa here. If you want to skip the vinyasa, go for it. Sometimes the vinyasas feel really nice, especially after more challenging poses or sequences, because they just kind of restore us to something known, something familiar. Breathe. That breath is also there to calm you. Use it. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees to step or lightly hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down. Coming through chair pose. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to turn. We're going to step. We're going to take the arms out. So the knees are still bent here. The right arm's going to go under the left. Lift the elbows up. Yep. And then the right leg goes over the left. So we're standing on the left, crossing thighs, tuck toes if you can. Don't worry if you can't. Those toes can just dangle. Lift elbows, sink hips. Breathe. Now I'm going to try to turn carefully on one foot. You don't have to do this. All right, now we're going to fold down about halfway, trying to level out the back with the floor. So we're not just like collapsing down, we're really engaging in trying to lengthen, reaching the fingers directly forward. And then unwind the right leg, push the sole of the foot back so that the fingers and the foot are extending away from each other, both dynamically. Try to level your hips if possible. Strong through the core, and then bend your front knee, step it back, back heel down. Variation on warrior 1. We're lunging deep. Come up, 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 up. Reach back. Lunge forward. One more inhale. Exhale. Unwind those hands. Plant them on the ground. Make your way through a vinyasa. Rest in down dog. And if down dog is not it for you, child's pose. As always, I keep coming off my mat. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop the feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Now bend the knees and sink the hips. We're going to come to your chair and then we're going to go right back into vinyasa. We're going to do a little dancing warrior here. So we're going to get our warrior poses in. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, make your way back to down dog through a vinyasa. And if you don't want the vinyasa, you know you don't have to take it. From down dog, Let's inhale the right leg into the air. Exhale, step it forward between the hands. Back heel goes down. Inhale, warrior one. And I'm going to turn my back on you. We're going to take warrior two on the right. Arms out at shoulder height. Front heel and back arch line up. Front knee over ankle. Drop the left hip a little bit. Especially, just notice if you have a tendency to lift the hip up or swing it forward, and try to counter so that the right knee stays over the ankle and that left hip opens back and drops down. Shoulders then rest right over hips. Arms at shoulder height. Look over the front fingers. Turn the front palm up. Reverse. Just one breath. And then we're going to take a brief extended side. So resting the forearm on the thigh. Take the top arm overhead alongside the ear. Dropping down into that front knee. Keep the left hip dropped. Reverse. And then hands to the floor. Vinyasa. We'll do the other side. Maybe your Chaturanga is one-legged. Maybe you're modifying. Maybe you're skipping the Vinyasa. Inhale, take the left leg into the air. Exhale, step it forward between the hands. Back heel goes down. Inhale, warrior one. And exhale, opening to warrior two. So again, especially the first time we're in a standing pose, we want to make the alignment adjustments, front knee over ankle, rolling that right hip back and dropping it down so the hips are really as level as we can get them. And then the shoulders are over the hips, arms are out at shoulder height, and then the gaze just goes over those front fingers. Keep some energy in that back arm. Turn the front palm up, reverse the warrior, keep looking towards the fingers, and then go ahead and take your forearm to your thigh, and now your gaze goes to the right fingers. Under the arm, trying to create that diagonal from the outer edge of the back foot all the way to those lifted fingertips. And then inhale, stretch it back one more time. Exhale, hands to the floor. Here's another Vinyasa for you. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, bend the knees and step or hop forward. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold down. Coming through chair. We're going to do one more standing pose sequence, incorporating some of our warrior standing poses. Forward fold Uttanasana, inhale Ardha. So make your way through Vinyasa here again. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. I'm going to turn around, so I'm going to come to the other side because we're going to start facing that particular direction, I think. Let's take the right leg up, inhale. Exhale, step it forward like you're going to go to a warrior one, okay? We're going to pivot the back heel down, but now instead of coming up, we're going to kind of turn our torso a little and drop the right shoulder down. Now we're going to try to lace the right arm underneath. So keep your chest basically squared to the floor. You can use your left fingers on the floor. Drop down as best you can. Take the right arm under your leg and just extend it out like an airplane wing if you can. So I can't really see my arm. Okay, then the left arm can come out as well so that both arms are out. We're going to bind here. So you're going to bend both elbows, flip your palms up, and then try to get your hands to meet behind the back. And you can't see my right arm at all, but it's there on my back, and I'm going to try to clasp hands. We're going to take a bird of paradise here. This is optional. If you're feeling like this is too challenging of a balance pose, don't worry about it. But if possible, if you want to try it, be safe about it, but if the hands are clasped, you can try this. Step the left foot forward, and it might take a couple of steps to get it up, and then you're going to keep hold of that right leg, and you're going to continue to face the front of your mat, so angle your toes there, and you're going to float up. Once you're up, You're going to try to draw your shoulders back, and I'm turning to look this way, but you can just keep looking forward. Flex into the right foot and then extend it. Now when we come out, we're going to go to bound extended side. So if you chose not to do a bird of paradise, your back foot is still back. You're just going to let yourself open. Now bound extended side, instead of dropping the chest to the floor, we're going to keep the bind, but try to open fully. If the full bind is not available, you can bring your right forearm to the floor, to the thigh, and just take your left hand behind you for a half bind. Lift the chest, look up, and breathe. Now let's release whatever bind. Come on up, straighten the legs, parallel the feet. Ah yes, hands to waist, lift your quads. Take a nice long wide-legged forward fold here. So forward folds are a little more calming. Doesn't mean there's nothing going on. They can be intense, but sometimes it's just nice to let the weight of the upper body go. Bring your hands to the floor between your feet. Breathe, let the head hang. Lean the weight forward toward the balls of your feet. And then let's take the left hand over to the right leg. Hang on. Take the right arm up for a nice twist. Turning open to the side. You can gaze up maybe. Try to keep the tailbone level and the spine long. Now, left hand is just going to come to the top of the mat. It's already kind of there. Pivot. Pivot your right foot back forward. Plant both palms. And you can take a vinyasa here. You don't have to. And breathe. All right, let's do the other side. So we're going to take the left leg up on an inhale. Exhale, step it forward. And again, we're starting kind of like warrior one with the legs, but the upper body is down to help us kind of get into this next step. So pivot the back heel down, turn the toes out a little bit, and that's just going to give us something to anchor into as we work this. Now the idea is to start to drop that left shoulder inside of that left knee and then bring it underneath. So if you can, extend that arm out, straight out underneath if possible. Work where you need to. If all you're doing here is a deep lunge into that front knee, that's great too. If you're able to bind, both hands come behind you and they just hold on to here, kind of near your low back. If you reach back with your hands but you can't bind, it's going to be, there's not really a good way to do Bird of Paradise without the full bind. So you kind of need to take the bind or just wait it out. It's okay. You can stay in your lunge. Work here. If you're taking Bird of Paradise, you'll step the right foot forward. Maybe it takes a couple of steps to get that foot there. Float up with the left foot bound in. Move the shoulders back, heart forward. Do the best you can here. Focus on one point to gaze at. Flex into your left foot, push through the heel, and straighten that leg out as best you can. And it may not get very straight at all. Just working towards it is the goal here. And then release that down. Left foot back to the floor. And then we're all going to come into extended side. So either full or half bind. So the right foot comes back. If you're half binding, your forearm is on your thigh and your right hand is reaching behind you. So you might be able to see better from the side here, from the back side here. Now if you're full binding, then that left shoulder is still down, but you're really trying to use your hands to tuck your left hip. Lift your top shoulder, look up. Back heel is still strongly into the floor. Strong feet, let go of the bind, float up. Parallel your feet. Second variation on Prasarita. Let's take the hands behind the back. Interlace fingers, shoulder blades down. And fold. Let your head hang. Let your arms reach up and over. Hi. This is such an attractive look, I know. Keep the shoulders lifted. So we don't want them to drop down by the ears. They should be lifting up from the ground and the arms can reach if possible. Of course, you can always have a strap or a belt or something between your hands to help hold them here. Breathe.
Now this time the right hand, so take your hands back to your waist first and just carefully let go of that bind. The right hand's gonna come to the left leg. Left arm goes up, nice twist. Try to keep your tailbone level. So you can put your hands here. Sometimes it'll like shift, your hips will shift. Try to keep them level. And then take your right hand to the mat, pivot, pivot, pivot. Turn your toes, plant your left palm. Vinyasa. Back bend, cobra or up dog, and downward facing dog, and breathe. Oh my gosh, yes, breathe. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step or hop feet forward between the hands. I'm not even stepping all the way to the front. We're gonna turn the toes out and come to a squat. So that's where we're all gonna go. I'm gonna turn to face this direction so you can see. So we're gonna work a little bit on some balance work here. With balancing, it's fun. We're gonna balance on our hands. We're gonna try to balance on our head a little bit. But be safe. If it's not for you, you can work in just this nice squat pose, opening your hips a little bit. This works your feet. And you can move your heart forward. So you're gonna press your palms, press your elbows against your knees, and try to move your heart forward, almost like you're trying to do a back bend in spite of the fact that the pose is not really designed to be a back bend at all. But then, for some of you who are feeling like, playing a little bit here, we're gonna try some crow pose, and we're gonna try a little bit of in and out of tripod headstand. If you've never done a headstand before, this actually might be an interesting way to try to get into it. But that said, make sure you're in a space where if you were to fall, you wouldn't break your dining room table or fall into a chair and knock your head out. We don't want to make sure we're being safe and you've got enough space. We don't want to fall, but we don't want to put ourselves in a precarious position where if something were to happen, we would not be okay, right? So just, be conscientious of your surroundings and your abilities and be safe. Do what you can do. So for crow, I'm just gonna turn slightly to the side here. We wanna try to get the upper arm under the shin, and the idea is that this upper arm eventually is gonna be a shelf. When it's on the ground like this, it's gonna be a shelf, and the shin is gonna be on the upper arm for stability. So now we gotta just get the shelf underneath the thing that's gonna rest. Hands to the floor, spread the fingers, and now we have to move our center of gravity over the palms. So for me, my hips are so far back, I would never get my feet off the floor, but I have to move everything up and over, and then the feet might start to be unnecessary. So let's just play. It's gonna feel a little different for everyone. Everyone's center of gravity is a little different. Everyone's alignment is slightly different here, but you kind of gotta let your body test it and try it and see what happens. Maybe one set of toes only can come off the floor at a time today, and that's fine. Take that one set up, put it back down, and then maybe take the other set up, put that back down, that's fine. Now, if you're interested in playing a little bit towards tripod headstand, a couple of things you can do. First, and this might be kind of fun, hands to the floor. If you have a hard time getting your feet off the ground, what happens if you put your head down first? So not right between the hands, but a little ahead of the hands. So you want to create a triangle. So the idea that that three-legged stool is really stable. We're trying to create those 3 points for the body to balance on. So we're going to bring the head forward of the hands. Now, maybe if you roll to your head, how easy is it to get the toes off the floor? Now we have 2 options here. We are in a headstand. We could take the legs up and come fully into tripod headstand, or we could do both of this, or the feet are off the ground, we could come to crow. So now with the feet off the ground, see if you can push down and bring your head up. I don't think this is the easiest way to come into crow, but it is possible to work in and out between these 2 poses just because they are related in some ways. So give yourself, maybe let's just take another minute here and we'll just kind of play in and out of this idea. So you can go back and forth, you can go from one to the other. You can start in crow with the feet off the floor, and then once the feet are off the floor, you can put your head down and then come up into headstand. See how it is? And then come on down. Try to be in control coming down. Even though coming down sometimes gravity just takes over, So part of our practice is to get used to resisting gravity. If we can resist gravity as we come down, we're gonna be much better at doing it when we try to go up. So just give yourself another moment or two here to play. And I'm gonna play as well. And then the last thing we can try jumping back. Sometimes I can do that, sometimes I can't. In and out of headstand, be careful. If you find yourself falling backward, tuck your chin, make sure you somersault out of a headstand if your feet don't come back to the floor. But hopefully the feet come down first. Okay, so last thing we can try from crow pose, if you're near the front edge of your mat, you're in crow, your feet are off the ground, we can try to jump back to Chaturanga. So basically it's shooting the legs back behind you, but I find in order to do that, I have to lift up a little so that there's not so much weight of my shins on my upper arms. And then I have to imagine I'm shooting my head forward. So as I shoot my legs back, there's something to work against. Come to up, cobra or up dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. And if none of that happened, just come back to down dog, and it's all in the past. Breathe. Let's take the right leg into the air, open the hip and bend the top knee, point that knee to the sky. Let's set up for pigeon stretch, yes. So front knee behind, or right knee behind, right ankle, or right wrist, what am I trying to say? Use the left toes to walk the left leg back and on the top of your thigh, and take a fold down over your front shin. Forearms can prop you up here, but as you feel ready to lower down, start to walk yourself further, maybe forehead comes down, breathe. So this is a passive pose. At this point in practice, we have earned it. Let the weight of your body give in, stay with the breath, but everything else is pretty much letting go of effort, right? So there's gonna still be some sensation, but we're not efforting our way into this pose. Now, coming up carefully, walk your hands in, and let's work a little with the back leg. So notice if you have a tendency to rock to your right hip. This happens a lot, especially like if you're really higher up in this pose. Sometimes it's just really hard to stabilize, and so the tendency is to rock down. And instead, try to keep yourself so that this hip isn't really completely on the floor and the back thigh is extended behind you. Now, planting your left fingers on the floor, reach back and with the, other hand, sorry, right hand down. We're gonna take the left hand down. So reach the left hand, so same hand to foot, and draw the heel into the hip. Now, if this is easily available for you, see if you can draw the heel closer and maybe slide the foot into the crook of the elbow so that hand is kind of free and you're just hugging the foot in using your elbow. Now, if you can do that, push the foot against the arm a little and help that to pull your shoulders more over your hips. Then take the right hand off the floor. And again, if you fall, then come back up. Take the right hand up, maybe up and over, and possibly finding those fingers together behind you for a mermaid pose. And then let that go carefully, hands to the floor, back to down dog. Once you get to down dog, take a second to shake out your right leg or kick through the heel, just releasing any tension that ended up in that leg from being bent up in the front so long. And we'll do the second leg. So take your left leg into the air, open the hip, bend the knee, point the knee to the sky, heel to the hip, and then move the knee forward behind your left wrist, shin across the mat. Use the right toes to help walk the right leg back and onto the top of your thigh. Extend the foot behind you. Come on up. Again, try to make sure you've not completely rocked to your shin, which usually means that you roll to the inner leg. So we want to really be on the top of the back thigh and then fold out over the shin. If anyone has knee issues, and I didn't mention this on the first side, but I mention it hopefully often enough for those of you who are familiar with my classes, you can always take a variation of this on your back to help your knee be a little bit easier here. Folding down. Stay with your Ujjayi breath here, just a couple more rounds of breath. And then coming up carefully, walk the hands in, float up, and we're going to do the quad stretch for the other side. So, with your left fingers on the floor, bend the right knee, reach back with the hand for the foot. And many of you will just be like here, like this is as close as you can get, that heel to the hip, and that's fine. You're just going to work the stretch for the quad. For those of you who can get that foot a little closer, you might be able to start to slide the foot up to your elbow. And this really only works if that heel can come in a little closer. Now, if you've got that foot against the elbow, push into the arm a little bit, and that's actually going to help draw your shoulders back. Once the shoulders are over the hips, you have less need of this front hand to support you. Take it forward, take it up. If you're able, bend the elbow and reach the hands together for mermaid pose. And then if you've turned way to the side, it's not bad, but see if you can try to square your shoulders forward again. Breathe, and then leave that go. Hands to the floor, back to down dog, and shake out left leg or kick through heel. Oh yeah. Make noises if you need to. Okay. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step or hop those feet forward between the hands. Inhale, take a half lift. Let's go ahead and come down to a seat. We are going to take a little boat pose here. So just a little core work. All right. So to start, walk the toes in a little bit so that they're light on the floor, hands behind the thighs. Move your shoulders back, lift your heart, lift the shins. Gaze on forward, and then if you can stabilize here without the hands, extend the arms out in front of you. Reach through the toes. Reach through the heart. Let the head just float on top of the neck. Breathe. And then feet to the floor. Bring the hands behind you. Pull your shoulder blades underneath you. Fingers point towards hips. Press the feet down. Come on up. Hips as high as the knees. Chin in. Or head can drop back. This is reverse table, so try to make that flat table shape with your body. And then sit bones to the floor. We'll do one more. Hands behind the thighs. Let the heart rise. Arms out. Breathing. This is kind of a V shape here too. We're going to take it to a wider V by slightly lowering. So roll, like 2 vertebrae down. So you're not on your low back, but the tailbone. Reach through the legs. This is like a very wide V. Up and lower. Little core. Up, lower, up, lower, up, lower. 3 more. Up, lower, up, lower. 1 more time, up, and then we're going to hold low. Crisscross ankles. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. After 1, we're just going to let it go. Okay. Come to your back. Bend your knees, heels away from hips. Time for a little back bending. And the first bit we're going to do is going to just feel good to stretch the front of the body. So press the feet down. Inhale, lift the hips, roll up through the spine. Let the arms reach up and over as well. Come on up. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly roll your spine back to the floor, nice and easy. Inhale, press the feet, roll up through the spine. Exhale, rolling back down. 2 more of these. Follow your breath. Now this last time we're gonna come up and we're gonna hold the hips up, bring the hands back to the sides and press the upper arms down. Get a little more height here. Roll the shoulders underneath you. If you're able, take the hands and interlace them below the back. Really on those upper arms, press the feet. Knees are over ankles, toes are pointing straight ahead. Nose is pointing towards the ceiling. Breathe. Now, when you're ready to come out, get the shoulders out of the way first so you can smoothly let that spine roll back to the floor, one vertebra at a time. Yeah, that should feel really nice and therapeutic, especially in that low back area. Rest. Okay, 2 more back bends. 1, 2. So take the same as we just did, or we can take a wheel pose. So I'm going to talk through wheel, but please, again, like with any more advanced pose, be careful, know your body. If this is something that you've done in a class before where you've had someone to watch and help with your alignment, then give it a go, be very mindful and aware. If this is brand new to you and you've never done this before, then you can watch and check it out, tune in, but don't force yourself into something that your body is saying, hey, maybe not yet. Getting hurt is absolutely not the point here. Yes, we want to challenge ourselves, advance our practice. But if we do that at the expense of our body and the integrity of our joints and things like that, that's just, it ends up being a problem. So I can't watch. I know this is sort of the nature. You have to trust your own self and your own intuition about whether your body's ready for something. With that disclaimer, I will show you how I suggest getting into wheel. So bend your elbows, bring your palms to the floor flat. So they really do need to be flat here with the elbows pointing up and the fingers pointing towards the shoulders. If the elbows are way wide and you're starting to roll off of your hands, you're probably not going to get the stability you need from your arms to come up into a wheel today. And that's okay. You do bridge. No problem. If you're ready for wheel, you'll press the feet, lift your hips, roll up through your spine, and flip to the top of your head. Now here, we can realign. So walk the hands in a little bit, elbows over wrists. Snuggle your shoulder blades into the upper back to really give them some stability and support. And then slowly press up. Move your chest back. Use your feet, use your arms. Try not to let your toes turn out. Knees should stay over ankles, and knees and toes point forward. I know you can't see them, so turn them in more than you think. And then when you're ready to come down, tuck your chin, come to the back of your head, slowly roll your spine back to the floor. Take 2 or 3 breaths, and we'll do 1 more back bend. So we took a long pause between back bend 2 and 3 for my long explanation of how to be safe. We won't take as long. Back bend number 3, either another bridge or a wheel if you're up for the wheel. Same setup. When you get to your back bend, try to hold for 5 to 7 breaths. So again, if you're rolling to wheel, press your feet down, roll to the top of your head. Don't let those toes turn out. Plug your shoulders in, straighten the arms, and come up. And then it's more than just up with the hips. Part of wheel is moving the chest toward the front of your mat or the head of your mat. Breathe. If you want to go a little deeper in wheel, lift your heels, walk the toes closer to your hands, and then without turning the toes out, put the heels back down. When you're ready to come down, tuck in the chin, head to the floor. Ooh, yeah. So, back bends, challenging, invigorating, should feel good after they are done. If you just feel like you've hurt yourself, like you've spent yourself, like you feel worse than you did before, then maybe go easier next time you do back bends. Take the right knee into the chest, lengthen the left leg out, little twist. Right arm out, use the left hand to pull that right knee to the left, turn your head right, and breathe. So we just twist after back bends to kind of neutralize the spine here. It's kind of a good way to restore. And then we'll do forward folds after that. which are like officially the counter pose of back bends. Coming back through center with the right knee. Switch to the left. Take the left leg in, take the right leg out. Pull the knee into the chest for a moment, and then use your right hand to pull the knee across the body to the right, but turn your head back to the left and breathe. And then come back up, knees into chest, nose into knees, curling into a little ball. Maybe take your shoulders back to the floor and just for a moment roll your knees around in a circle in one direction. Yeah. This should feel good for your low back. And then other direction. All right, and then grab hold of your shins. We're gonna rock a little bit, shoulders to hips. You can use your feet to kind of like pump. Like I think of this like if you're pumping on a swing, it kind of gives you a little momentum. But do try to keep the spine really curved. This is very similar if you've done Pilates mat to rolling like a ball. And then the last roll, we're gonna come to boat pose again. So keep the legs extended, bring the heart up, arms out, find that balance. Awesome if you did, and then see if you can reach for the big toes. So bend the knees in to reach for them, straighten the legs up, come to a little V. Now if you inadvertently roll back, it's okay. Try to get yourself back up. It's actually really challenging to come up holding your feet, but you can try it. And then take the legs out wide. Nice big wide V here. Breathe. And then bend the knees. Take the soles of the feet in together, and we're right here, so let's do Baddha Konasana. So I'm just gonna turn here. Edges of the feet to the floor, knees go wide. Use the elbows to gently press the knees open. Use the knees to gently press up against the elbows, and then create a lot of space there. Just let that upper body start to move downward. And then carefully come on up. And we're gonna keep our forward folds fairly simple today. So we're just gonna keep the left foot tucked in, take the right leg straight out for Jani Shirshasana. Okay, so just angling your torso towards your right leg. If anyone wants to take a half lotus, you can do that here as well. I'm not gonna go into that too much today. Flex your foot, so move those toes back towards your face, and then use the hands to kind of turn your torso in this direction, walk the hands out. If you're easily able to reach the foot, that's fine, but I actually sometimes really like rooting my hands on my mat because here they can get some traction and I can make sure that I'm still continuing to think about lengthening my spine over my leg bone. Breathe, pull the toes back. Try to just let gravity do all of the work for you here. Two more breaths. And then walk the hands in to come up nice and easy. And we'll just do the other side. Take the left leg out, take the sole of the right foot in. It really, I think, does feel good after moving so much and being on the feet to really just let go with these finishing poses. Take your hands to the floor. And if we just, all we did with these finishing poses, which feel so great now, they wouldn't really have any, it wouldn't feel like much then. First of all, we would still be kind of tight because we wouldn't be warm, so we wouldn't get much of a stretch. And I think it's just such a reward to come to this point in our practice where we're able to let go of a lot of the effort and just let those muscles that we've worked so hard with today just stretch and lengthen out. Don't force it, really just let it, but really try to enjoy what that feels like, to just let go and give in to this pose here. Two more breaths. And then carefully come on up. Come out of a stretch slowly, especially if it felt very deep for you, just to make it really easy on your body. Cross the legs. As always, I recommend that you give yourself the next 5 to 10 minutes to spend in Shavasana in your own space, lengthening yourself out on the floor. You can turn off the lights. You can give yourself any support props you need, whether it's a pillow under your knees or a blanket over your arms. So give yourself some time to do that, but for now, we will close together. So coming to a cross-legged position, bring palms together in front of the heart. Close your eyes. Tune back into your breath. And I often think it is worth noting how you're feeling at the end of a practice, especially because you also noted how you felt at the beginning. Maybe nothing is different. Maybe things are shifted, not necessarily in a better way, but just in a different way. I think it's still just worth noticing. See where you're at this moment, so you know where you're coming from as you go forward into the rest of the day. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in each of you wherever you are. Thank you so much for practicing with me whenever you are practicing. Namaste. Thanks again. Off you go to Shavasana. Please feel free to share this practice with anyone you think would enjoy it, and I will see you next time.